Hi, I'm Robert here at Sifan Temple, and I'm going to be cooking for Veggie Plan A. What I'm making today is a vegetarian soy chorizo breakfast dish, okay? But you could eat it for lunch, that's fine too. The main ingredient is the soy chorizo, and we're using this because it's vegetarian, so there's no meat products in here. We're using queso fresco, which is a traditional Mexican cheese, but this one is it's got skim milk, so it's healthy for you, and you get your dairy that way. And then of course we got yellow corn tortillas. You can use white if you want, that's fine. Yellow's the gluten-free though. And then we have eggs, which are optional, so you don't need to include the eggs in this. And we're going to try and fry them today, but if we make a mistake, we'll just scramble them. That's okay too. Okay, so for the garnishes and also the ingredients, we're going to use fresh cilantro, a lime, and some radishes, probably just about 2 of these. Avocado, if you want, but it's also good if you're vegetarian and you need some diversity in your diet. And then also a tomato, which is a good source of vitamin C. I like using avocado oil because you can get the temperature up really high and it doesn't smoke. Or you can use canola oil or vegetable oil. That's up to you. And then what I'm cooking with today is a portable, but you can cook at home. It'll probably be easier. I'm using a cast iron skillet, which is good for women that need a lot more iron, because the iron actually leaches into the food. So this is a 10-inch cast iron skillet. And then I also have just, a small generic no-stick pan for the egg. It just makes it slide a little bit easier. For utensils, a good sharp chef's knife. This is like a small 8-inch, but it works really good. A spatula, a small knife for the avocado, just makes it easier. I use scissors a lot. Some people think it's cheating, but I don't. So when I cut the cilantro, it's just faster and safer for some people. And then the last thing is a spatula and the cutting board. Okay, so next we're going to cut everything. So we'll start with the cilantro, and then we'll do the radish, and then next the tomato. What I like to do is I take the seeds out, but I'll show you that. And then the lime. And then the avocado we'll save for last, because if you cut it too early, it's going to turn brown, and then nobody wants to eat a brown avocado. So this will be like one of the last things we do. Okay, so with the cilantro, first thing is to get rid of all the stems. Nobody really likes eating stems. And then you can kind of ball it up a little bit. And this is where I cheat and I use my scissors. There's no rush in cooking unless you're in a restaurant, but we're here at the temple, so it's okay. Okay. So as you can see, that's all we really need, and it didn't take that long. So next we're going to cut the radish. If you have a sharp knife, it makes it easier. And I like to go really slow and try and get as thin as I can. That way it tastes better and it looks better. So you're looking at something almost you can see through. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. So I'll go ahead and I'll just cut one, and I think you'll get the picture. We're going to use this on top of the plate as a garnish. And again, take your time and go slow, because safety first. You don't want to get cut. Okay, so you want to do 2 or 3. It really depends on how many, if you're going to use eggs, how many eggs you're going to use, or if you're just going to use chorizo. Just depends on how many tortillas you want to have. And then I'm going to cut the tomato. And when I cut a tomato, I really like to take the whole center out. But the most important thing is that you don't cook the stem, because it's hard and it just doesn't taste good. Again, vitamins, a lot of people don't know, but they have a lot of vitamin C in them. So it's a good source of vitamin C. But they're also acidic, so you should watch how many tomatoes you eat all at once. So the big center there I'm not even going to use. And then I just cut them in strips. You can kind of let the knife do the cutting for you, back and forth. And again, just take your time. There's no race. And this we're going to put in on top too, just to give it a little bit more variety. The original recipe for this doesn't even have tomatoes, so I added it just to make it taste a little bit better and give it a little bit more color. So I forgot my last one. And again, I like to take all the seeds out. So again, just be careful when you cut and take your time. Okay, so we're looking good. I'll hold this up for the camera. So you want pieces to be, you don't want a big giant piece and a little tiny piece. You want them kind of all to be the same. Then the last thing we're going to cut is the limes. And we're going to just make wedges, which is pretty easy. You just cut it in 4 first, and then cut it one more time. Again, let the knife do all the work, not you. And that's pretty good. Okay, so the next part is the cheese. Again, it's called queso fresco, means fresh cheese in English. That's the Spanish, queso fresco. I get the skim milk kind. It really doesn't matter what brand you buy. And this is really, it's closest to what it looks like and what it feels like is, I don't know if you can see that. It's basically like feta cheese. It's got the same consistency, okay, but it doesn't taste like feta cheese. I think it tastes a little bit better. And we're just going to crumble it up, and we're going to sprinkle it on top when we're done. So let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. I'm just using about half. I probably won't even use this much, but just take a couple of seconds, crumble it, and then set it aside, and then we're going to be ready to cook. Okay, so the last, or second to the last, if you're going with the egg option, is going to be the soy chorizo, and it's going to be real easy. I'm going to cheat again and use my scissors. And this stuff can get messy. So that's why I have a lid here. And I'm not going to use the whole thing today. I'm just going to use a little bit. And again, the cast iron skillet is a really good way to cook. Actually, I probably need a little bit more. There you go. I don't think you can smell it at home, but it smells pretty good here. So we'll just let that go for about a minute. Okay, so it's been about a minute and a half. And again, it gets pretty messy, so use a lid because it splatters. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put it aside, and then we're going to cook the egg. So again, I didn't use the whole package, I used about a half. Okay, so next we're going to cook the egg and then garnish the plate. and we're gonna be done. So this is optional for those of you who eat eggs. If you don't eat eggs, you can leave this out altogether. See, it's moving, it's not sticking. So we'll give it a minute, and then we're just gonna flip it right over. There we go. So you don't want it to be burned, but you want it to be cooked all the way. And then in a second, we're gonna set that aside, and I'm gonna show you how to cut an avocado that we're gonna use last, and then we're gonna just put everything together. Avocado oil, and just a little bit. I'm using yellow corn again, but if you want to use white corn, that's fine. It's all up to you. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes. So again, the advantages of using no stick. Nothing's sticking. There's one. Actually, this recipe, you can hold it like a taco if you want, or you can make it like a tostada, which is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put all the ingredients on top, and you can cut into it, or if you want to fold it, eat it like a taco, that's up to you too. Kids like to make tacos. I think they're more fun. So this is it's a good dish to make for breakfast. Almost done. We're going to cut the avocado. So the way I cut avocados, everybody does it different. I cut them in half. So I cut it in half, and then I just twist. Okay, so just cut it in half. Take your time to go a little bit back and forth and twist it. Okay? Some people have trouble with the seed. The best way is to use the very bottom corner of the knife and just stick it in. Go back and forth. This one's tough. There you go. Then I'll cut this half into half, and then we have 4/4. And if I use a small paring knife, but you can use a spoon too if you want. That's fine. And I try and go as close to the skin as I can, taking my time. So you want to get a piece like this. It's got a little bit of skin. You just want to take that off. And then from here, what I'll do is I'll cut this in half again. And that's about it. If you want to do it another way, that's fine too. You can cut it in a quarter again. Remember, you don't want to leave the skin on it. Nobody likes eating avocado skin. And again, with a sharp knife, it's always easier, but take your time. So you can cut it in half this way. It's really up to you. It's all going to end up in the same place. If you want to use a bigger knife like this, if you're more comfortable with that, that's okay too. There's really no wrong way to do it. But what we want to end up with, I'll put them on the plate for you. Just some nice pieces like this. You can tell where the seed used to be. And with that, we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so we made it to the end. I'll show you how to assemble your chorizo. Again, if you want to make it a taco and hold it that way, or just cut into it with a knife and fork, you can do that too. So the first is, like anything else, I'm just going to make a base. And this is that wonderful smelling chorizo everybody likes. It's a little bit flavorful. So let's try and cover as much as we can. And remember, let's not waste it. So you want it, I don't know if you can see that. Kind of like if you're putting cheese on a pizza. And then next, we kept it in the container to keep it warm. And then this part's optional. If you don't want to eat egg, you don't need to put that. And what's good is, for next, we're gonna crumple some of this queso fresco. And just try and get it on every little piece you can. Remember this, you can actually use feta cheese if you like feta cheese. If feta cheese is one of your favorite things. But I like queso fresco because this is really, it's a Mexican dish. And then next come the radishes. Remember, we tried to cut them as thin as we could. You could put them any way you want. And then this isn't in the original recipe, but I like tomato. Good source of vitamin C. And see, look, it adds some color. So color is always good. Makes it more appealing. A little bit of cilantro. So kind of got like green and red now. And maybe just 3 of these. Avocado. And the last thing we're going to do is squeeze a little bit of lime. And what I like to do when I'm cooking for somebody else is I'll just leave a couple on the plate for them. So we finished, and this is for Veggie Plan A, and I hope everybody likes it. This is it's our Mexican, it's a traditional chorizo breakfast, but you can eat it for lunch too. And thank you for watching.